So there's a thing that I hear a lot from conservatives when it comes to crime, in particular when they talk about crime in big cities. And this is a thing that I always hear from these guys. They say some shit like, crime is out of control in Democrat-run cities. And they always say Democrat-run cities. And all it takes is, like, I guess for the mayor to be Republican, and then there's suddenly no fucking crime. It's like such bullshit. So here's an example. Not that long ago, Donald Trump said that Milwaukee was a horrible city. And, you know, Donald Trump says lots of stupid shit, so why does anybody care anymore? It's because the Republican National Convention is scheduled to happen in Milwaukee not that long from now. And so that caused a big stink, because it's like, oh, well, we're going to this city in order to hold our convention, and our presumptive nominee is saying that it's a shithole, that it's a horrible city. That caused a little bit of controversy, but, you know, there's a controversy with Donald Trump every fucking day. So, as if anybody even cares anymore, right? But this is not the first time Trump has said something like this. He always usually says cities are horrible or whatever like that. For example, in 2017, he tweeted about high crime rates in Representative John Lewis's district. And John Lewis is a House representative from Georgia, which includes Atlanta and part of Felton, right? And he basically said, you know, because John Lewis was criticizing Trump, and so Trump said, you come from a high crime district and all this other shit, blah, 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 blah. And if you notice, Donald Trump only seems to have this criticism about high crime in any particular state or city when there's a lot of black people that live in that city. That seems to be it. And that's really what this is. It's a dog whistle for the N-word. You know, they're not allowed to say the N-word anymore. So they say Democrat. They say Democrat-run cities. So anytime you hear them saying this shit, just take the word Democrat out and put the N-word in, and that's what they really mean. And, you know, Donald Trump in particular seems to, like, say this. I mean, the thing about John Lewis is that, well, violent crime in his district has fallen by 7% since 2010. So it's actually pretty low. It's like half of what it was in 1987, and that's when John Lewis entered office. So if anything, it's like he's been very good as far as like crime in his district goes. I mean, can you say that any given House rep is directly responsible for the amount of crime in their district? Well, no. Not at all. Do they have anything to do with it? Probably not. But that's not the point. The point is they were just slinging that dirt at him because he's black. And that's what this is. It's a dog whistle for black-run cities, for N-word-run cities. That's what they really want to say. They really want to say N-word-run cities, but they can't say that. So they say Democrat-run cities. It's kind of bullshit. In 2020, Trump blamed the Democrat-run cities again for the civil unrest, which was the result of the Black Lives Matter protests around the country. He said the 10 most dangerous cities in the country were all run by Democrats. In fact, I've got a tweet here for you. Let's go ahead and open this up. This is his tweet. The 10 most dangerous cities in the U.S. are all run by Democrats, and this has gone on for decades. And then you can see his responses here. Law and order, run on this, and you will win, Mr. President, I guarantee you. This is me. This one aged great, huh? They've been using this dog whistle for many, many years now. I don't remember the first time I heard it specifically. I'm thinking I remember hearing about this stuff at least during the Bush administration, but quite possibly it's probably even older. If I had to guess, I would say they were probably saying this same kind of shit way back during the civil rights era. I don't know. I don't really have any evidence of that. I know that the first time I've heard somebody say Democrat cities were crime-ridden shitholes was like 2006. And possibly before that. Pretty sure I remember hearing Rush Limbaugh say some shit like that. Here's the thing, right? Violent crime has been going down for decades. For decades. regardless of all this stupid shit that Republicans and Trump MAGA people and grapers have been saying about Democrat-run cities, violent crime is way lower today, just nationwide, than it was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you remember the 90s, there were drive-by shootings, it was a crack epidemic, all that stuff. It's like not even fucking close, the amount of just violent crime in general. Other types of crime may be up, things like smash and grabs and people breaking into cars and stuff, thievery, that kind of thing, drug dealing, whatever. That kind of stuff might be up, but violent crimes, rapes, murders, assaults, carjacking, that kind of shit, way, way lower. It actually kind of peaked in the 90s. But it's even lower now than it is like back in the 60s and 70s. So where's all this fear-mongering and shit coming from about violent crime? Because one thing you always hear, like, you ever watch those videos where they have like Trump supporters answering questions, like the Young Turks will do this. They'll send a guy out and he'll ask a bunch of Trump people some questions and stuff, and then they always say like crime is out of control and all that shit. And then you go outside and it's like, it's just fine. I mean, yeah, okay, I live in a big city. There are parts of the city that I wouldn't want to go to at night, but even those parts, there's like very few neighborhoods in Los Angeles that are just overrun with crime. It's not like it was back in the 90s. In the 90s, there were places where it was just like you didn't want to walk down that street. Right? That was it. Just don't go down there. Shit's gonna happen to you. Not so much anymore. You don't have to worry about being carjacked and shit like that. I mean, it still happens, but it's like not really the same as it was 30 years ago. I'm not trying to say there's no crime in Los Angeles, but it's way lower. I mean, even as just a resident that lived, I mean, it's noticeable. Even in like my area, I live in a pretty low crime area, but I can remember even back then there was like home invasion robberies and shit going on around here, like, right? That stuff's over with, or it's very rare. So why are all the conservatives like losing their mind over crime? It's because crime is higher in red states than it is in blue states, per capita. Now, this is something I know we say this a lot, but it bears repeating. There will be more crime in blue states. The amount of crime, the number of instances of any given crime, there will be more. Why? Because more people live in blue states. So you have a big city, there's more people that live in this city, there's going to be more crime there. You have one city that has 5 million people in it and another city that has 35,000. There will be more crime in the city with 5 million people. That's just how it works. But if you look at the per capita, the numbers of rapes and murders and assaults and home break-ins and stuff like that, per capita, it is way higher in the South. If you look at the top 10 most dangerous states as of 2024, this is the top 10 most dangerous states. Alaska, number 1. New Mexico, Tennessee, Arkansas, Arizona, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina. All 10 of those most dangerous states in this country for violent crime. Right? Every single one of those is a red state. That means, although there's more crime in California and New York, you're more likely to be a victim of crime in New Mexico, Tennessee, Arkansas. Here's another one that I've got for you guys. I love showing maps here because it's very easy. This is cities with the most murders. This is datapandas.org. St. Louis, Baltimore, New Orleans, Detroit, of course, Cleveland, Ohio, Las Vegas, Kansas City, Tennessee, Newark, Chicago. It seems pretty split there as to red states versus blue states, doesn't it? But if you keep going, there's an awful lot of red states in the top 20. I mean, Kentucky, Missouri, Kansas City, Memphis, Tennessee, Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, this is New Orleans. Pretty fucking high. You notice Los Angeles is not on this list. New York is not on this list. The stats don't lie, folks. So when you hear this stuff, when you hear them talking about how California is a shithole and New York is overrun with criminals, And another one that they always say that, oh, they're allowing the illegal immigrants to come in and commit crime. And then some of the more conspiracy-minded assholes will say shit like, oh, well, Biden is importing criminals on purpose in order to ravage red states and blah, 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 and force everybody into voting for him. When you hear shit like that, remember, folks, take out the word Democrat, add the N-word, because that's what they're really fucking saying. The racism it's subtle, even though it seems like every day that goes by, the racism gets more blatant. They still have to appeal to like suburban mothers, white suburban mothers who are not all the way hip with wearing a Klan robe. So they have to hide their racism sometimes. And this is one of the ways they do it. Really, if you want to ask my opinion on why crime is so high in the fucking South, I think it has a lot to do with culture. I think that the South has a culture where basically someone needs help. If they're not part of your family, if they're not part of your friend group, you tell them to go fuck themselves. It seems like, Southern hospitality, right? It's really good when it's somebody that they like. When you're a friend, when you're a neighbor, a good church-going neighbor, whatever. Southern hospitality seems to be, oh yeah, we'll help you out, blah, 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 but they never help you too much. Overall, it seems like people in that part of the country are not very helpful. Not when it comes to helping strangers. Not when it comes to helping people who believe different things than they believe. Or have a different skin color. Or who are from some place that they don't approve of. Then they tell you to go fuck yourself. And they're very stingy about things like, say, programs that help poor people. Programs that help people get off the street. Or get off of drugs. Stuff like that. They're more likely to put you on a bus and send you to a blue state than they are to help you get off the street. That's fucking Ken Paxton's solution to homelessness. Just put everybody on a bus. Send them to fucking Martha's Vineyard. And what does that do? That breeds a society where everybody, in power just stomps on the people below them. And you know something? If that's how you are forced to live, then suddenly you don't actually have that moral obligation to not steal from them anymore. See, honest people, even when they are in dire straits, do not resort to thievery or breaking the law just because they have to. A good-natured, honest person will do everything they have to do before they break the law, before they steal from someone, before they break into a place and steal food, whatever. It'll be a last resort. Oh, my kid is going to starve to death. I got to get some bread. Something like that. That's when they'll resort to stealing. But if you live in a society where no one gives a fuck about you and you know it, that kind of goes out the window. And I've kind of seen it happen. People who don't have the support system behind them are more likely to turn to crime. If you spent your entire life with everybody out there telling you that you're shit, that you're nothing, because of whatever reason, because of the color of your skin or whatever, if you spent your whole fucking existence like that, then what obligation do you have to play by the rules? And that's what it seems like. That's just the Southern culture. And does that have to do with religion? I don't know. Maybe there's a correlation there. Is it a cause? I don't know. I'm not a sociologist. This is just my own fucking fan theory. Right. I don't have any studies backing this up. Not trying to claim that this is like some kind of like objective truth or whatever. This is just my own observation. This is like, yeah, like I said, like my own fucking like armchair theory about why life is so shitty in the fucking South. I don't know. Somebody should do a study.
Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.